3.
Huh?
Yeah, episode 3.
Oh, okay.
The Chaa Talk episode 3 of the Chaa Talk podcast.
Oh, I thought you were saying
Yeah.
Game of Thrones episode 3.
I think we should pour one out for Game of Thrones in. Pour out a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because sadly we have no tea again.
I'm just going to put the kettle on and just give me a minute.
I'm disappointed. I thought the promise of this podcast was that tea.
You know, it'll happen one day, okay? I was promised a good Game of Thrones and I'm going to get that. Wow.
Well, if you've been, so we're here with a special guest today as well. Joining Aslan and Arvi and me is Aaron. Aaron, say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Aaron's been a friend of ours since primary school? Primary school for all.
Primary school. Yeah.
Am I the only one who met him in secondary school?
No, I did as well.
Us too. Year 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so we've known Aaron for a time.
I mean, that's same for me because we didn't really become friends until year 7.
Until year 7, yeah.
Destiny. Free will. Did they have a choice? We're always destined to. We'll come back to that topic later on in the show, obviously. But we've been living under a rock for the past week. And Game of Thrones ended. To let's say mixed reviews. It ended. Well, let's put it this way. How would you rate the ending?
It's a difficult question.
Yeah, it's different.
Wait, are you satisfied with the ending?
No, not completely.
No?
I'm not completely satisfied. Obviously, in the final episode, they covered bits we wanted, like the Clegane goal,
Yeah.
but then just the way it all kind of ended, where Daenerys, the way she died, I didn't feel satisfied.
You know we were talking about the leaks last week.
The leaks.
Yeah, you know how me and him were like,
Oh, the leaks. Yeah.
That was in the leaks.
Yeah.
John
yeah.
couldn't die.
And you know what it is? I honestly think they did the best through what they could do. Like,
Yeah.
if we consider what they set themselves up, how badly they set themselves up to fail in episode 5, Game of Thrones episode 6 was really good, in my opinion.
Yeah, to try and come back from
The episode
yeah.
itself wasn't that bad. It's just the way they executed certain plot points were.
I feel
Questionable.
that's the main thing. Like, they drove themselves into such a bad corner that was the best they could do with what they had left. Which isn't an excuse, but it is.
Because I felt like the writers shot themselves in the foot by this having 8 seasons and then just condensing it.
You know something really interesting I came across? Did you know HBO wanted 10 seasons?
Yeah.
They asked them for 10
Yeah,
seasons.
everyone knew that.
And they said no.
They said no, yeah. Because apparently they're going to do Star Wars.
Star Wars or something? What selfish prick.
Game of Thrones has become bigger than Star Wars now.
No, but the fact that
Star Wars is
No, but I mean, as in like
massive.
the new film franchise of Star Wars, I think. Obviously, as a whole, Star Wars.
Star Wars is just
Still
dying
huge.
a
Game of
little.
Thrones is massive right now.
No, it is,
but yeah.
Star Wars is crazy.
Honestly, I think if they gave it the respect it deserved and gave it a full 10 seasons, this might be the best program ever.
I agree, yeah.
Nah,
So what's the best program ever now?
As I say, at the moment it's contested, isn't it? Like, some people say it's not, some people say it is, so it's not like the de facto best program ever. It hasn't got that thing, but if they gave it the respect it deserved and did a full 10 seasons, which everyone would have watched, like, who would not have watched 10 seasons?
It's whether you can sign up the actors and whatnot
Come
for
on.
10 years.
But come on, man, like,
Yeah.
They've been doing this for 10 years, so they would have carried on for another
2
2 or 3 years.
But most of the actors, like, have you seen that thing where all these actors are complaining about the ending? Come on, they would have agreed. Like,
I think the only one really complaining about the ending is Daenerys, Emilia Clarke.
and Jon Snow.
Not really. I haven't
Yeah.
seen him come out and complain about the ending.
I saw this thing where he was like, when I read the script, and I was just like, are you serious? This can't be the ending. And they were just like, no, it is. He just had a moment where he was like, oh. And I was like, awkward silence.
Yeah, I could tell from all the actors they weren't completely satisfied either, even though they know it's it's a good ending and they trust their writers and stuff. But even though they weren't completely satisfied, you could tell.
They kind of missed the mark when they had Daenerys' death scene.
At the start of the 6th episode.
Huh?
At the start of the episode.
No. I mean, how it made you feel. I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
I thought seeing someone, a big character like that die, you would have felt some sort of
I
impact.
felt more when Jorah died.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Theon. I found more sad for the dragon than I did
No,
for Daenerys, and that's when you know they failed the character.
completely right.
Because it should have been such a big moment. It should have been Ned Stark levels of
Like,
you know,
down. Yeah.
like you knew going into the episode she had to die. There's no way she's walking out of it.
It's, you know what it is? They had so much. For example, the battle against the undead, what they condensed to 3 episodes, could have been at least half a season. Maybe
It
pushed.
technically was half the season.
No, but proper like 10 episode season, right?
Yeah.
Then they could have had her kind of against Cersei and that whole situation as another literal half a season, and then the aftermath of her death could have been a few episodes.
Oh, like Daenerys' reign, because I saw there's a lot of people wanted like a whole season of Daenerys'.
Like a bit of her reign, and then
Yeah.
after she died, even they didn't just throw that into one episode. Like, do you see? Like at the end, Yara disagrees with what they should do with Jon. Tyrion disagrees. There's a bit of strife there. They could have churned a few episodes out of that.
And the whole thing where they left Tyrion to do all the talking,
And he's a prisoner.
and he's a prisoner. Like Sir Davos goes, so what do you propose? You know, these guys are the most powerful people of Westeros, even though half of them are, you know, idiots and not main characters, like Edmure and. Like,
Yeah, like Edmure. Oh my, that actually made me laugh. To be fair,
yeah.
that made me laugh.
What do you make of King Bran? Bran the Broken.
It's a joke.
Really?
The fact that he's like, oh, it was always meant to be. Come on.
I suppose out of all the candidates left, I think he was
Yeah.
probably the best on the show. Yeah, the way
I kind of
that
had a feeling it would be. I told you before my prediction
Yeah,
before
you
the
did.
season, Bran would like lead everything, and it makes sense that he would.
I feel like the thing is, it's like what you predicted. I feel it's a council. I don't think Bran's king. I think that's what they've kind of set us up towards because
The thing with it, okay, Davos was the master of ships,
Yeah.
makes sense. Brienne, Captain Kingsguard, makes sense. Bronn, master of coin,
Master of coins, yeah.
question mark, question.
no, but like you know the fact that also one thing they got right was, you know, when Tyrion took the hand thing off and threw it down the stairs. I actually thought down. It's just got real.
Yeah.
But you know when sorry about that.
I think he's walked away from this whole thing so lucky.
Yeah.
Tyrion. He's the whole reason like Daenerys just completely fucked it in Westeros, in my opinion. Well, one of the big reasons.
He talks his way out of everything. He's such a good character.
He played the game in the end,
Yeah.
getting Daenerys killed, but I think he's the main reason she ended up fucking him up as much as she did. Every decision he made in season 7 cost her a lot.
Was it down for
Yeah.
gradually, yeah.
Realistically, she could have just landed in Dragonstone season 7, flown to the Red Keep, killed Cersei. That's it. In one episode.
I feel like, you know what it was? They kind of put Tyrion forward as like conscious. You know, she wanted to just do this, and he was like, no, come on. I think that's what they were trying to go for, where he was like the voice in the back of her head saying, no, we don't want to burn a city full of people. And then they showed that her voice is what caused the downfall. That makes sense.
No, I still blame Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the end, when you look at it, he wasn't the best advisor for, even though he's a good talker and he knows his stuff.
He
But
was terrible for
if you think about it, he's a Lannister, and you're
Yeah.
attacking where he comes from, and he's obviously going to have a soft
He was
spot for
he
that.
was serving his whole family for it.
Yeah.
And you saw that even in episode 5 where he betrays her again
To do what?
to free Jaime.
I don't think that's that big of a betrayal, man.
It's still a betrayal. That's your queen's enemy.
Was he even a prisoner at that point? That's
He was
the question.
Jaime.
Jaime.
Yeah,
he was.
He just fought with them in the war.
Yeah,
But he was always a prisoner.
he was a prisoner.
And then he was a guest.
He was in chains in the tent. He was their prisoner.
No, but he only got taken in as a prisoner because he tried to leave to go to King's Landing.
So he's a prisoner.
Yeah, but the fact
Yeah,
is,
so
why
he
are
let
they imprisoning him for going to King's Landing? Why is it that deep?
because he was going to fight with Cersei.
Yeah, but
So he's betraying Daenerys, and then Tyrion's gonna betray her
Yeah.
And
again.
no one likes him. You don't want him to set free and fight against you.
So what do you think of Jon's ending? Are you satisfied with Jon?
You know what? Yeah, he does. I didn't understand it, if you want me to be honest.
His ending.
Yeah.
The way I took it is that he's like, fuck the Night's Watch. I'm going north of the wall and spending my life there.
No, but there is no more Night's Watch, and
No, that's what I mean. He's like, fuck the Night's Watch. I'm staying with the wildlings north of the wall.
you know, when did he ever want that?
The Rio, no.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
When did he ever want that?
yeah.
He didn't. But I guess
It's just like
He doesn't want anything. I don't know what he wants.
He needs to be king of the north. That would have been satisfied for me ending of John.
What do you think about
Sansa.
the independent North? I think it's so stupid.
I think it is as well.
Because think about it. Why wouldn't the Iron Islands rise up and say, yo, we want our independence? Why wouldn't Dawn rise up and say, yo, we want our independence?
And plus, the fact is, this isn't the time for the North to be independent.
Yeah.
They've got literally Bran on the throne, which again, like I was saying before, I don't think he's an active king. I feel like he's just going to be like a...
He's an advisor.
what's it called? Like a puppet monarch? Because he doesn't want anything in this world. So he'll just be there like begging, and the council will be ruling the kingdom. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he'll have that final say. And,
I guess.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause they'll come to him now, we want to make this decision. What do you think? And he'll be like, yeah, fine.
but yeah, now that you got to say, I kind of get why being independent kingdom, because Bran's a Stark, and also the House of Stark now in Winterfell is probably the strongest ally.
Yeah. So it makes sense for them to. This is the time for them.
Yeah.
It's like how when the Lannisters got the throne, they never said, "Oh, we want the Westerlands to be free." They were like, instead, let's move all our power. That's how it works, isn't it? Like I feel like you know what it is. These plot points that are all random and not like weird and all that. They are links to them, but they just haven't been put down. George R. R. Martin has promised that his book's coming.
He set a deadline for
I
himself.
think Winds of Winter, I think, is next year.
Next year. I've got to start reading the books now.
I'm
You
actually.
should, man. Because I think the whole Daenerys turn and everything
Should be so much
will
better.
be so much better.
It's guaranteed to be better.
Do you think Jon will go more for the ward in the books?
Well, he, you know what's weird? Do you remember at first he said, I'm not going to change the ending? And then did you guys see the link I sent? Where he's like, oh, the ending isn't exactly the same. And it makes you think, like, is he just going to tweak it a little bit to make it
Yeah,
work?
I can see after seeing the show, it's like, oh, maybe that's not the best ending. And you might change it slightly, or
Yeah, I think Daenerys, if they did it right, would have been one of the best characters that have ever been
Evil
made.
Daenerys.
Huh?
Like a proper...
Like, proper fleshed out Daenerys would have been one of the most tragic characters.
I think, yeah. Also, Drogon burning down the throne.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
I knew that would happen. I knew a dragon would burn down the throne, but I just didn't know it would happen in that circumstance.
Apparently, the dragons are meant to be really intelligent beings.
Yeah, have you guys seen the
The
meme?
meme. It's like the throne is a symbol of corruption.
Also, do you guys remember, I think I said this last week, I just wanted to see her sit on the throne once for like the impact it would have, but they didn't let her do that, and I feel that's important.
They had her touching like the vision in.
Yeah, but she doesn't sit on it.
Yeah,
She's been trying to sit on it for so long, and she didn't get a chance to sit on the throne because Jon just came and slapped her.
In the recent seasons, there weren't that many shots of like Cersei or anyone sitting on the throne that much.
No, but you know, like the fact that you get like a moment where everyone sits on the throne, like everyone who's been fighting for it,
And then you get that crown on your head.
and just that moment where they're like, "Yo, I did it." She never got that moment. Like she got the moment where her
She
arms.
didn't even get a fucking final word when she
Yeah.
died. She got stabbed and
And that's it. She's vanished.
There was no impact. In my head canon, it's like Drogon just flown away with her to Atlantis to get her resurrected. I don't know, she hasn't, but
From that priestess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that Drogon was like, "Arr." Dragons are the most intelligent.
Because
creatures.
they've left her ending so open-ended. Like, yeah, she's dead, but what has, Drogon...
Have you guys seen the fan fiction thing? Where some of these fan fictions are amazing. Where I think Drogon comes back or something with Jon, and somehow the camera gets to Valyria, where Daenerys has been buried by Drogon, and I think it's Jon or someone, where they go back and Drogon refuses to fly back, and you see that Drogon has 3 eggs in Valyria, and then dragging them back, and the whole show ends.
But
Still would have been better.
what's crazy about Drogon is he's only like 6-7 years old in the show.
Yeah.
And in the books, dragons usually live for like 150 years. So,
So maybe dragons are better.
Maybe, but Drogon can be alone for 150 odd years.
Well, Danny wasn't going to live that long anyway.
I know, but it's just like he's got
Jon in it.
there's a dragon just roaming around the world
Yeah.
now by his own kind of peak.
Also, how do you? I don't See, the Game of Thrones, like, you know how like Lord of the Rings has the Silmarillion, that book where it explains everything. Game of Thrones doesn't have like it has some backstory books, but it doesn't have them. So like, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. Like, how do dragons reproduce in Game of Thrones?
He's never explicitly come out and told us.
Yeah, I know, but like, I want to know how dragons.
Oh, like a description of each.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings does that.
Yeah.
There's
I
like a
mean,
separate book which literally describes everything.
similar to Harry Potter as well.
Yeah, Harry Potter's like J.K. Rowling comes on her Twitter and explains things that people are confused about. No, but it's just like, for like shows like this, like fantasy shows that have really strong fan following.
Yeah.
I feel something like that's important, and I feel like once he finishes his books, he might do something like that.
Could be. I mean, he has gone deep anyway already.
That's the thing. It's like Winds of Winter will come out, but he hasn't even started writing Dream of Spring.
He says that. He probably just got both ready to like launch.
I don't think he's got both ready. I think he has started Dream of Spring, but yeah, we ain't getting that book for good 7-8 years.
It's a 3,000-page manuscript. So
Also,
let's go some reading.
going back to the fate of Jon Snow, going back to the North, I thought the whole point of Lord of the Light bringing you back is that you serve the purpose and then it takes you away again, like what happened to Beric Dondarrion and who was the one that got resurrected? Was there another person?
In the show, he's the only person.
He's the only person, yeah. So Beric Dondarrion.
Maybe.
And the Hand was related with Lord of the Light as well.
He never got brought back.
No.
Did he?
He had
but he had he saw into the flames. And
yeah. But with that point, right? I saw this thing online again where they describe how he came back, he served his purpose, and now he's like beyond the north of the wall. So like he's beyond the Lord of Light now, and he's just chilling there.
Oh no, not involved.
It isn't that. I think it's him not being a political pawn anymore. Because this whole season he's been used as he's the true heir to the Iron Throne.
He's done nothing this season. I just want to point that
But
out.
I think it's not him, his actions, it's who he is that's been the thing this season. His whole thing with Daenerys is, he's actually the actual heir to the Iron Throne, so that's been her, to serve her story. But I think if you deep it, the whole Azor Ahai thing, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
The reason he was brought back was to vanquish the real evil that is Daenerys, which is kind of deep on a level, but again, execution wasn't.
Yeah,
the
that could
best.
have been like that might actually be the Lord of Light, the Azor Ahai prophecy in the book. With what you're saying, where the Lord of Light didn't take him again. I was just trying to remember, and there's this thing right where online where the Lord of Light brings him back, right, and there's like a foreshadowing of some sort. I can't remember the exact thing that happens, but on the first episode, it's revealed to everyone that he's Aegon, right? So that's like the Lord of Light has brought him to be Aegon, right? Then Aegon has served his purpose and died at the end, so now he's just back to being Jon. So maybe he's been brought back like in that sense. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Because Aegon got brought back, right?
Yeah,
but he served no purpose. Like his only purpose was the presence of his name, and now that Dany's dead, he's pointless again.
Yeah, but I think it's that political pawn thing, like I said.
Probably.
He can't be used anymore. And if he is going off the wall, assuming he doesn't marry or father kids, House Targaryen is dead.
Which he
How's-
will do.
Yeah.
We'll find out in a while.
I don't know if he will or not, but
Imagine that the last Targaryen is some random wildling that wants to rule.
House Stark could potentially be dead.
Oh, Bran's not going to father any children. 'cause
Yeah,
he's a
Arya's
Arya,
gallivanting around.
God knows. Sansa's probably not kids. There you go.
Yeah, but in the male line, I guess because she's queen, she can marry someone of a lower birth and then
Probably.
take the Stark name.
God knows.
Technically, House Stark would die out.
I like what they did with Ghost. Where he just came back. It was dead. It was weird, but at least he was dead. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Good for the guy's pet.
it's just
He's like he's such a big factor in Jon's story in the books. He's so important. Like I was telling Syed my theory about how Jon's gonna come back to life in the books, because
using Ghost.
yeah, like Jon, all the Stark kids have wolf dreams in the books, so they could do what Bran does, but not as powerful. They're not as in control as their powers.
Oh, they can walk into the walls.
Yeah, they can walk into the wolves. So Arya, while she's in Bravos, has dreams that she's a wolf, so she's Nymeria. And Jon has the same thing. But Melisandre has a vision where she sees a man turn into a wolf back into a man. So my theory is when John dies, he walks into Ghost, so his consciousness is in Ghost. Melisandre heals his body, and then he walks from Ghost back into John.
Then does he really die?
I don't think so, but the longer you stay in your wolf or an animal, the more you lose of yourself.
Yeah.
So John is already pretty violent in the book, but when he comes back, he'll be even more unhinged. So that'd be sick.
Yeah, that would be sick. It's a shame that they didn't show more of the direwolves involved in the recent seasons. You know, there were, like in the first few, where which direwolf was protecting Bran? Not the wolf.
No.
So
Yeah, and then
that was his direwolf, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then that died when Holdo.
Oh yeah.
Holdo. He died then, didn't
you look a bit like Holdo.
Huh?
You look a bit like Holdo.
Reckon it. But you know one thing, like you're saying with the direwolves, right? They're linked to each Stark. So I feel like each direwolf kind of dies when their Stark dies, apart from Sansa. And I feel like that kind of works as well because it dies when she has to kind of stop being a Stark on the outside. Do you know what I mean? And Arya's wolf is just, you know,
It's representative of Arya. Like her
Yeah.
wolf is just roaming around doing her own thing.
and
Same as Arya.
with John's wolf, right? I think they missed an opportunity. They could have had a scene with Rhaegar and Ghost showing how he's transitioning from being a Stark to now being a Targaryen, and then they could have continued using that metaphor for him to come back to being a Stark at the end. I feel like it's such a missed opportunity. Like it would have been such a cool scene.
Yeah, that's the
There were
issue.
loads of missed opportunities.
That was
You just need
such
so
an
much more
amazing
time
scene.
and filming and seasons.
And the Night King, I just want to call it, was trash.
You know what? Episode 1 to 3 this season, I thought were great.
I didn't like episode 1. I loved episode 2.
Episode 2 is probably my favorite episode this season.
Amazing.
Episode 1 to 3, sick. I don't have many problems with them.
Even episode 3.
Yeah, it's still, for what the story they're telling, 1 to 3 is still good, really good.
See, I didn't like the ending of 3.
What, Arya killing thing?
No, that's fine.
It's just the way the Night King died.
Yeah.
You expect him to be
Yeah.
more.
I expected more. Like, it took more to kill the mountain than, like,
I get that, but
take the mick.
1 to 3 is sick. I have no real like complaints, right? 4 to 6 is a completely different story.
And with the White Walk, because I understand that once you stab them with Valerian Steel or Dragon Glass, they shatter. But not the Night King, he is the original White Walker. He shouldn't shatter. I don't think he should.
Apparently, she stabbed him exactly where, you know, the initial, when he was turned.
Yeah, the initial blow.
What's it called?
Dragon Glass.
Dragon Glass.
Dragon-
Yeah.
She's apparently stabbed at exact spot. Like, come on,
It
man.
would have been nice to see it. So she stabs him where he was stabbed originally, and he like transforms slowly into a human again,
And then dies.
and then dies.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
And you know, on top of that, right, the fact that there's so many unanswered questions about these lot that are going to be answered in the new series.
In the prequels, yeah.
It's just taking the mick, like.
I don't think they'll answer.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
And they've already started filming the prequels.
But should we rank every episode this season?
it's a big task.
It is a big
I
task.
don't mind.
I think
Episode 2.
episode 2. I think episode 3
As number 1.
is number 1. Yeah.
Okay, go on. We'll go for your top. Go and rank your 6.
Okay, so
Should we do all episode 1,
I
then
don't know
all
the
episode
proper-
2, then all episode 3? Like, so like your first episode, your second episode.
Your best episode.
And then go down
Okay.
and do it in fours.
Okay, go on. So Arvi's episode 3 is your best episode this
Battle
season.
of Winterfell.
Okay, Aaron.
I'll say episode 2 is on.
Okay.
Episode 2.
2. I'm episode 2 as well.
Episode 2 was
It was like the best character episode ever.
It was
It,
such
it,
a good episode.
not even for this season, but for the whole series.
It was just perfect.
Yeah,
They even had the
such a
song.
good episode.
Yeah, Jenny
It
and
was
Lesnar.
such a good episode.
Arvi, your second
I'll have to go with that then, episode 2.
episode 2.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Yeah, same. I'll go
Two.
episode 2.
Episode 3.
That's my episode. It's as amazing to him, but now it's going to get interesting.
And
Now
then,
it'll get interesting.
then I would say episode 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll say episode 1 as well.
I'd say episode 6.
The very last one.
I'm with him. Episode 6. I'd see. I'm not surprised though, because I think it's quite.
I feel like I know what his next one's gonna be, but then after that.
No, I just feel like the ending of episode 1 was so good with Jamie and Bran.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like all the characters coming together. And and then I'll say episode 6.
Okay.
And then episode. Go on.
I think next I'll probably say episode 5.
Oh.
I'll probably say episode 5 was my next favourite one.
I'm just trying to remember what happened between 4 and 5 because it was such a joke. Wait, 4's the one where her dragon gets shot.
Yeah.
And what happens in 5?
She burns down King's Landing.
Okay, I'm gonna go episode 1 next.
So,
Yeah, then I'll say after episode 6 I'll say 5.
okay.
But I feel like 5 it should be higher up in it because the way it
Oh,
was
the
shot.
production, like
Yeah,
we're not talking about
Well,
production.
yeah,
We're just
but
talking like
yeah,
the story.
Yeah. So yeah, episode 5.
Okay. That's the penultimate one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Is this the last one? Is it?
I think
There's
so.
one more after this.
So it's last 2 now.
Yeah. These are the last two. So episode 5 is your second to last. Go on, Arvi.
Yes.
I think I'll say episode 4.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna go episode 5.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got the exact same list. Yeah.
And then Arvi, what's your last one?
Which one have I missed out? I think it's 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
4.
Episode 4.
What's your last one?
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
it's episode.
which
I
one.
don't think it's at episode 1 yet. Have you?
Actually, yeah, I haven't said episode 1.
Episode
I
one.
think. Yes.
Mine's 4. 4's the best episode. Guys,
You know the sad thing about episode 4, right? Up until the dragon.
gets shot.
it was actually a really good episode.
I like that. How could
It was
that?
actually a really good episode, and then after the dragon got shot, it just went.
Just like what's happening. Guys, can I just read something out?
Yeah.
So, I don't agree with all of this, but look, Game of Thrones season 1, 91%, okay? Around tomorrow. It's not too bad. I think it should be higher, but Game of Thrones season 2, 96%. That's pretty good. Game of Thrones season 3, 96% again. Season 4, 97%. Season 5 had a little bit of a dip, unfortunately. It went down to 93%. Season 6 went back up to 94%. Season 7 went 93%. So it's not the best it's ever been, but it's pretty good. Guess what season 8 was?
Around 60%.
58%.
Really?
I don't think it should be that low.
It's people are like have their own interpretations of what the ending should have been. So if that didn't happen, they're just really disappointed.
Plus, you know how previously Game of Thrones only had like 3 episodes which were below 90% in rating?
They've had like 4 this season, right?
This season, they've had 5. Only 1 episode broke 90%.
Episode 2.
Oh, episode 2 got 88%.
Really?
Yeah. Episode 1 got 92%.
Damn.
What did episode 3 get?
Yeah.
74%.
People did not like the story of Arvi.
Episode 5 got 48%. Episode 5 was the worst rated episode this season. Episode 4 was 58%, and episode 6 was 49%. So the Rotten Tomatoes ranking, should I just...
I mean, I don't give much credence to Rotten Tomatoes
Yeah.
rankings
No.
anyway, but I'm not totally surprised.
They're very strict, man. I don't know how they base the rating. I don't know if it's just on storytelling and
The
writing.
thing is-
Anyone can go on, right?
To be fair, Rotten Tomatoes ranking hasn't been completed yet, because they have like a critics ranking.
And then the users.
Audience ranking is... Guess what the audience ranking is? Keeping in mind, audience ranking for any season before hasn't gone below 90. Guess what the audience score is for season 8?
60.
Low.
Really?
40.
Low.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not.
35.
Because people hate it so much, they were just giving it 1 star, 1 star.
But this is probably the only season where they made the most money out of it.
It's just
It's
annoying.
not-
I'm trying to be objective here. I don't think it's that bad. Like I said last week, Game of Thrones is still probably the best TV show ever made.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
still.
It's
It's
just
still a good watch.
yeah, it's
But
people.
at its worst, that's season 8.
Probably yeah, but it's still not as bad as some of the shit that is out there. And that is what it is. Do you want to rank what season everyone's favorite is?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because I think that'd be a lot different.
Probably.
Yeah.
Can we just real quick, because I watched it before season 8, but season 1 is initial, ends with Ned's death. Season 2 is?
So Joffrey's reign.
Joffrey dies in season 3.
Battle of Blackwater.
Or the end of
Yeah.
what's the end of season 3?
Red Wedding. Season 4 is Joffrey's death, Tyrion's trial. Season 5 is Daznak's pit. John
Drogon
dying.
lands and saves her.
John dying.
dies. Okay.
Cersei Walk of Shame. Season 6 is Dany sailing to Westeros.
Season 7 is Dany landing in Westeros.
Yeah.
And season 8 is this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want
Okay.
to go first?
Go on.
Go on.
Go on. We'll pass that to Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, you went first, Aaron. Go
Rotate.
first. Go on. Your favourite season of Game of Thrones.
I mean, I can't really remember any of the seasons before this one. What happened in season 7?
She lands in Westeros,
Yeah.
and John tries to convince her that, come fight with me. The ending of season 7.
Yeah, they're on Dragonstone and all of them meet, all the, they meet with Cersei as well to,
Yeah.
The dragon dies.
to
Yeah,
discuss
that's, yeah.
the
I
White
mean-
Walk problem.
Yeah, I would say season 7 for my
Fair
favourite.
enough. So season 1.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I love season 1.
I'm going to say season 6.
Oh.
Season 6 was amazing.
Was
Oh.
it season 5 with Cersei's Walk of Shame?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had Hold the Door, John's Resurrection, Dany killing all the cows. What else happens? The Hound comes back. Cersei blows up the Scepter Baelor. Battle of Bastards. Just so much shit happening in that
I
season.
agree with that.
Amazing.
Yeah, season 6.
Season 6 was
that
nice.
is
Season
the
6
best.
Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
That's
Season Winds of Winter, the last episode of season 6,
Yeah.
has a 9.9 rating on IMDb.
damn.
9.9. I think Battle of the Bastards is 9.8.
And the music in that was so
Yeah,
good.
amazing.
That's, Light of the Seven,
Yeah.
Winds of
Well,
Winter.
Light is 7 is sick.
I'm gonna put Ramin Djawadi and then season 6. Mate, we need to go see him. I've been going on about this guy for like 3 years.
No, I'm gonna do
He's
this.
young as well. I saw an interview. He's so young.
He did the first Iron Man film.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't really like the score in the first Iron Man movie, I'm not gonna lie.
He just did Ramin Djawadi.
Nah, the score's not all that in the first Iron
I
Man.
can't honestly, I can't remember. But it was just one of those things I never knew he did. But he did.
The only superhero movie I can remember the score of is Dark Knight.
Did he
he's
do
good.
Yeah, because there's a lot of that.
No,
What did
Hans
he
Zimmer. Hans Zimmer, but Ramin, I think, was one of his students.
Hands on is sick.
He's on that level now.
Yeah,
Hands in there.
he is.
Is he?
Yeah, come on.
Just for-
He does
just
that
for
and he
Game
does
of Thrones?
Westworld.
Oh,
Oh, he's
Westworld.
Westworld as well.
He does
I need
Westworld.
to watch season 2. Also, just wanna what's it? This is the score to Iron Man.
You know we're getting a copyright, by the way. So thanks for that.
No one's gonna pick it. No one's gonna pick it.
No, I'm sure there's a certain amount of time you can play something
It's
before
like
you copy
10
it.
seconds.
Yeah.
That's that. I just did that. I just did
That's
that.
it. We can't put any more copyright stuff.
Avi, your season?
I said season 6.
Season 6 is number 1.
Yeah.
Aaron, so it's your second highest rated season.
I'll go for season 6.
Syed.
You know, I wanna go for 6, but then I wanna go for 5. But you know when I really thought about it?
5. Okay.
I did 5, but you know what I really, really enjoyed the most, I reckon? Season 2. You know where Tyrion is having all these shenanigans with all the people, and then just how Tyrion-centric that season is, and it shows how he plays the game instead of Ned Stark playing the game. Those are some of my favourite episodes, so I'm probably going to lock in season 2.
Okay. Season 4.
Joffrey's death.
Joffrey's death. Tyrion's trial. What else happens? Tywin's death.
That season 8's last for everyone.
Probably will be.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I think that's already cemented in one off. In the second season.
I think I have to go for season 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's the way they set it up
Mm.
for the final. It was such a good setup. I don't think they could have done any better.
It's like they did the alley oop and then the guy just falls down instead of hitting the 3 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Aaron. The third season.
Third season. I think I go for season 1. First season.
It's a good show.
I'm going to go for season 4. My boy Tyler, as he says, dies, and he deserves that. And plus, I feel like that twist of Tyrion killing Tywin is something the show really lacked in its further on seasons. Like, don't get me wrong, some seasons were amazing, but that kind of boom that just happened, damn, I wasn't expecting that. Especially the first time you watch it. I feel like season 4 was one of the best for that. Like, Joffrey dies, Tywin, that happens to Tywin. What happened to Tyrion's trial,
Tyrion's trial.
which is amazing.
Mountain and the Viper. Mountain. Yeah.
And the vibe,
Mountain
yeah.
vibe, yeah.
And I can't remember the beginning of season 4, not gonna lie, but the end of it.
Two Swords. It's probably one of the best season openers. It's like it opens with Tywin melting ice into it as
Yeah. And Oathkeeper.
well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with season 4.
Season 3.
Ooh.
Red Wedding.
Rob Stark's campaign.
Red Wedding. Beyond the Wall.
And you have the whole Jamie Lannister development arc, which I think is sweet.
Yeah. I think season 3 and 4 are just like.
They kind of one season.
Yeah, because it's one book they've adapted, but it's mad. Yeah, so season 3 is my third season.
See, I can't remember much of season 1 to 4 because I didn't really watch it. So really, I've only seen it once.
Yeah, honestly, you really should. Because when you watch them again, there's like so many things you pick up on. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
they're amazing.
I think, so I've said season 6 and that's the season 7. I think, yeah, I would have to go season 4. That's the one where
Tywin dies.
Tywin dies, yeah. Definitely.
Tyrion has a trial and whatnot.
Yeah, the trial, yeah.
Aaron, that's you. The 4th highest rated season.
Fourth house vacancy. I'll go season 5. Season 5, not like that.
Yeah, John dies. Go on, Syed.
I'm gonna go with 6.
Okay.
I feel like for the reasons given previously, the only reason I would have put season 6 a little bit higher on my personal rankings is because the ending of season 6 is so strong. Like I honestly think if we were to judge last halves of each season, keeping in mind what the endings of some of the previous seasons have been, literally considering the Red Wedding, the Purple Wedding, Ned dying, all of that stuff, I would still say season 6 is the best. But when you look at it as an overall season, what even happened at the start? You know what I mean?
Which one's Hard Home?
John, season 5. John comes back episode 2.
Yeah, that's not even gonna happen. Like, come on, John's gonna come back. Like,
At the time, no one knew.
really?
At the time, no one knew. Because there was no leaks.
He's just expected him to.
They expect
Yeah.
it, yeah.
But it's still him coming back. I think that's probably one of the few times
season
that
1 of episode 6.
Melisandre, she has a.
And she takes the necklace off.
Yeah.
That's the big event. Come on.
That is like.
Like,
I,
come on.
I was shocked, man.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was shocked.
Nah, but it's just.
I feel like the ending's stronger than the start. For season 6.
But okay, fair enough. But season this whole coming into a whole protect season 6 thing. But John comes back to episode 2. Episode 3, John leaves a night watch. Tyrion meets the dragons.
No, like, John Leaving Night Watch is one of the best scenes.
Yeah, it's like
It all
now my watch is ended.
Oh, that's such a big that's such a
It's
sick
like,
scene.
drop the mic. Kills like 5 of them. Then just drops them. I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. Fuck you.
That's such a sick scene.
But it's sad though. He ends up going back there at the end.
Yeah. Kind of gets rid of that development.
They're all tragic characters. The only person to have a happy ending is Sansa and fucking Bran, realistically.
Also, did you guys know that Jorah wasn't meant to die?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he did.
I'm kind of glad he did as well.
Because
the fact
then
that he wasn't meant to
if-
die is silly.
Yeah.
I was a bit irritated by him when he got before he got the grayscale.
Mm.
I just didn't like him as a character. I thought he was just a bit,
Creepy.
yeah.
He's even more creepier in the books.
Oh, is he? Yeah. But then obviously they
So
kind of
no-
turned it around.
Keeping in mind, Danny's like 9 in the books.
Yeah, no, she's not that young. She's like 13, 14.
So no.
Which is crazy to think. Like, in the show, they've aged him up like 2-3 years more. But really, what they turboing down King's Landing, she was only like 20 years old. In the book, she would be even younger.
Hey, no, wait, how old is she in the show?
They aged them up, everyone, by like 3 years, I think.
Right, so at the start of Game of Thrones, Danny's how old?
16, I think. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She does look really young if you go back.
Yeah, but in the
Okay.
books they're like 13 because like I think Arya is 8 in the books, and in the show she's like 10 at the start. Everyone was aged up by like 2 to 3 years, I think.
Also, I think Dawn ends in season
5.
5,
This is why I'm surprised season 5 was high up on yours.
which is a joke. I haven't said season 5 yet, have I?
Oh, have you not? Oh, fair enough. I thought you said you liked season 5.
No, my list so far has been 1, 2,
We should speed through because it's almost 8 o'clock.
1, 2, 4, 6.
1, 2, 4, 6.
That's my 4 so far.
Okay.
Nice, you.
This is my 4th, right?
Yeah.
6, 4, 3, 1.
Okay.
Should we just read them all off?
Yeah. You might
1, 1, 2, 7, 5, and 8.
Fair play.
I think mine's probably changed, but 6, 7, 5, 4, and then 1, and then there's 2 and 3. I think I got 2, 3, and then 8. What was in 3?
Yeah, Red Wedding.
Red Wedding.
Man, I couldn't do that. Okay, so 3, 2, and then 8.
Not much really happens in season 2. I know they had a big battle of Blackwater
The reason I put season 2 up so high
because
for
it's
me,
like Tyrion doing his thing.
and it's just so cool. It's like world building and so much of that stuff.
But even
happening.
the book, nothing really
And
happens.
that's where Sabron comes in
Yeah,
and gets his name.
and I just enjoy kind of world building and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. So
I'll back it.
season 2 back.
Wanna complete your list?
Complete one. So I think the best one was season 7, then 6, and then season 1. I go for season 1. Then I probably go for season 5. Then season 3. Then 4. Then 2. Then 8.
So everyone's in agreement.
No, I haven't said my list yet.
Go on.
1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3.
You
5,
think
7.
8's higher than
Psych.
3?
Nah, I shouldn't
Mate,
say it halfway through.
I was gonna say.
My list is 1, 2, 4, 6,
Yeah.
3, 7, 5, 8.
So we're quite similar. I think.
I think our
season.
styles are
Yeah, I
different.
think 1 and
6 I swapped.
yeah. I think I'll listen back and find out.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I back 1 to the end. Let's
But
start.
it's pretty much a perfect adaptation. Like
Yeah.
there's literally minimal differences from the
But
source.
as you were saying, I feel the main thing here to know is season 8 is last.
So what season did they go off the books? Was it 6?
4, 5, 5.
No, season 5 they still kind of adapted it. Season 6 has I think season 6
Yeah.
is
It's
when
when
they
John
really
dies. What episode does it? What season does he die? End of 5.
end of 5. Yeah, but even season 6 does have some book storylines that Jamie got to River and etc. Even though it's completely
And
different.
at what point did the book stop?
John died.
That's
Okay.
where they overtake.
Oh, okay.
But they stopped following it a little bit before that, right?
No, because they still adapted a lot of it. Like
But it wasn't like
John, it wasn't
never
a proper adaptation like the other ones were.
like the previous season.
Yeah, season 5 is when they did start making a lot of changes, but it was still book stories in there. But after that, it's when it.
Did their own thing.
Yeah, because I like
But I say
And
that
it worked.
season 6 was still
yeah,
like
it
I
was
say, it's still
strong.
amazing season.
Okay,
It's just
7.
season 7 and 8 is just.
Honestly, you know when people are like, oh, Dan and Dave, like all these memes where, oh, as soon as they haven't got source material, they're a joke. As soon as I honestly think what shot them in the foot was the rushing.
Yeah.
They were fine at adapting stuff they didn't have
They're
source
good
material
writers.
for. Because till season 7, there wasn't any issues. Did you? I didn't have any issues.
Yeah, I think
No.
they just did, yeah.
The I have sympathy for him though with adapting because I ultimately blame George Martin for not releasing the books. If he had released no, if he had mate, it's taken 8 years
Yeah,
and we
but
still have no.
they literally rushed millions of fans' feelings, destroyed the show just so they could go to
Yeah.
Star Wars. I'm sorry, but there's no.
No, I have a bit of sympathy.
Oh yeah, but they couldn't wait for
I
him.
think it's not like George
But
Martin
they didn't need
has,
to. They could just finish up their show. It was their show at this point.
but it's like how I want to see that list that they got from him, detailing the plot.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's like, okay, he's giving them details, but of the main story points. But then they've got to fill everything in between with no source material to actually adapt.
But they weren't doing a bad job at that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They weren't doing a bad job until they just thought, you know, I can't be bothered with this anymore. So I feel it's what happened at the end.
I have a bit of sympathy for him.
Didn't the first book come out like in the 90s?
1996.
Yeah.
1996, the first book came out.
And I remember from season, you know, we have the shocking deaths of the main characters from like season 1 to 5 or whatever, and everyone would blame George R. Martin. Oh, this guy is killing off all our favorite characters. No one really focused on the writers, but now it's all on the writers and.
Because what you gotta remember, these guys only have like, I'd say 8 months to write their scripts and everything. This guy's had 30 years to write his books
True.
and like perfect his dialogue and everything. So it is what it is.
The dates are Game of Thrones came out in 96. Clash of Kings came out in 98. Storm of Swords came out in 2000, so like 2 years.
It's amazing. He had like those 3 books.
In 2 years of each other every time.
Well, you started writing in 1991, but you still turned around those 3 books in that period of time.
Which ain't too bad. And then
That's amazing.
it took him 5 years to write Feast for Crows. It took him 6 years to write Dance for Dragons. And since 2011, when the show started. The show started in 2011, right?
Yeah.
We haven't had a book, so 8 years.
I think if the show started earlier, he would have written them quicker.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything
Later.
motivating him
They started talking about doing the show in 2006.
after Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't for Lord of the Rings
Oh,
being
no,
filmed,
that's-
this show would have never happened.
Lord of the Rings is amazing though. Actually amazing.
That's not.
Like,
Well, that's another whole topic.
also guys, have you guys seen, just going a bit off topic, Quentin Tarantino said that he's only going to release 10 movies.
Yeah.
And
Have you seen the
apparently-
trailer? It's new.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
They're saying
Apparently,
it's amazing.
yeah, this is his best movie since Pulp Fiction apparently.
Yeah.
Hype.
And it's going to be interesting because I know nothing about that time period. So
So I know nothing about the movie, and
yeah.
I've kind of been avoiding stuff because especially with Quentin Tarantino, which you just want to go in blind.
Yeah. Yeah, my favourite part in the trailer was Bruce Lee.
I didn't even see Bruce Lee.
Showing Bruce Lee in the trailer, yeah.
They got the. I think the reviews are saying the best person in it is Brad Pitt, which is going to be quite interesting.
Oh,
I don't
because
really
DiCaprio's in it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm like Brad Pitt. I don't really. He's a decent actor, but I don't like. You know,
It's pretty good. Who else is in it? I want to see the cast.
DiCaprio, Margot Robbie. There's some good actors in it.
Margot Robbie's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has really good chemistry with DiCaprio.
Yeah. So it's like if Brad Pitt's like the better thing in that movie, over them two, then it's a big statement.
Is this his 9th film?
Quentin's, I think so.
Yeah, because he had the 8 something.
Oh, yeah,
what was
Hateful
it
Eight.
called? Hateful Eight.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, should we? So Game of Thrones, even despite its poor season, I'd still say it's one of the best TV shows ever made.
Yeah, like acting, production value,
It's also got Al Pacino in it.
yeah,
Sorry.
special
Yeah, it
effects.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones has been up there with greatest TV shows of all time.
and give Emilia Clarke all the Emmys. She deserves it after that.
Kit Harington.
Huh?
For doing nothing season 8.
Yeah. Give Emilia Clarke for an amazing season.
What's your favourite episode of Game of Thrones?
Ever.
You've done
Oh,
season
no,
Ever.
you can't do that.
Winds of
I
Winter.
One
can't
episode.
do that.
The Winds of
I can't
Winter.
do that. I can't do that.
Which one was that?
Season 6, episode 10.
Oh, what happens now?
We find out about Jon's true parentage. Cersei blows up the Sept. Arya comes back and kills
Fred.
Wall
the
of Frey.
Frey. Jon's
Such a good episode.
Yeah, that is a good episode.
Jon's made King of the North.
Is that happening in the same episode?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 'cause
So
that
much
was
shit
last-
happens
it's the
there.
last episode.
Daenerys comes to Westeros, or sails off for Westeros. It's just an amazing season. Like they could have ended it there, and then my imagination could have just gone wild. Well, all the possibilities of what happens.
You know, I might have to agree.
It's hard to
It's a
forget
damn
stuff.
good episode.
No, that's what it's rated 9.9 idea.
You know, amazingly, I put season 8, episode 2 in one
That
of my
bracket.
best episode lists. Somewhere on the list. It's not.
No, I would too. It's up there in like my top
Do
5.
you know what I mean? It'd be on the list, but as number 1, I'd probably give it to Windsor.
The Winds of Winter.
I'm just trying to think. of
That's probably
something
where they've
better.
gone wrong. But with season 8, you don't see, so apart from the episode 2, and then when you link it with the ones of Winter, the actual characters and how they're acting and how their relationship with the other characters. That's what makes a good episode, doesn't it?
The thing with that Winds of Winter episode, it felt like, you know, movies have 3 acts: Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. That felt like the end of Act 2. Like everyone's leveled up.
Yeah.
And we're going into the end game. So like that's why the first 6 seasons are just like you can't touch them. But that episode is just like the accumulation of
So,
Jon's whole story and you know everything. So
It's such a big milestone in almost every character's story
yeah.
that it stands out as such a big episode.
And also, I think with the story of the White Walkers, that kind of makes it a lot more complicated, confusing, and along with the Game of Thrones. So, just having both
I
of
love how
them.
you say Game of Thrones, but you actually mean Game of Thrones.
Like the
Yeah.
fight with 7 Kingdoms to
Mm.
produce this Iron Throne. Just that, them two different, parts of the world.
Do you think that helps the series or takes away from it?
I don't know. I think from the way they filmed it, it does. It just makes it more confusing and complicated.
You know, I think that one of the big delays for the books is because he doesn't know how to close
Combine the two.
those 2 stories.
That's it.
And that's why I think they struggled so much in
Because
this
it's
one.
such polar opposites.
Yeah.
You've got like this geopolitical thing happening, and then you've got literally Army of the Dead. Like they don't
Mm.
meld, but somehow it worked for a few seasons.
It could have been 2 separate
It would have
things.
they would have worked if they didn't end them at episode 3. So if at episode 3 they lose and they retreat to King's Landing, and then that's my prediction that Tyrion betrays Dany and again sets a wildfire in King's Landing, ends up killing 100,000 people.
Or Dany
To-
sets off the wall.
No, Tyrion does it to protect instead of everyone. Anyway, but the Night King makes it to King's Landing, and then that whole shit goes down. Yeah.
At
I
one
think-
point, I thought when Drogon was finishing burning King's Landing that he would just sit down somewhere,
Catch his breath.
as she did, waiting for the bell to ring, and then Cersei would be like, "That's it," light the wildfire, and then Drogon just blows
I was
up.
actually expecting that.
Yeah,
I was
the
expecting-
wildfire was nothing.
It was hyped so much. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
that's it.
Should we just? It's 5 past 8.
after you guys.
Do you want to do this? Do we have free will question? Do you want to save it for next time?
Shall we save for next time?
Yeah.
We'll save it for next time.
Cool.
This is the dedicated Game of Thrones podcast.
This is dedicated.
I mean, everyone's got their own opinions.
Yeah, but
Y-
some are just wrong. Down
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I'm kind of so fatigued by it all now. In
Isn't
that,
that sad though?
none. Yeah, it is because I'm fatigued by everyone hating on the show, and it's kind of like ruined the whole atmosphere around it. So yeah,
Do you think if it came out last year, that it
no.
would get this much hate?
Maybe not, because they made us wait 2 years for
Mhm.
this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it builds up more hype.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword. You build up more hype, so if you do it well, you get more ratings. But if you do it not as well, like you get more hate. I feel like
The show's not over yet. There's a documentary out tonight. So I'm gonna watch that.
keep doing it
That's
alive,
good.
guys.
Yeah,
I
but
was talking about shows. Have any of you guys watched Chernobyl?
I was going to mention that, yeah.
yeah, it's got like the highest rated show on IMDb as well.
And only like a couple episodes have been out.
Yeah. So we'll see how that averages out over.
Maybe
season.
you'll be doing the Chernobyl episode. next
Maybe.
It's a miniseries. It's not full on.
week. Oh, is it actually?
It's called America. It's one of the HBO miniseries.
Yeah.
They
It's
do
like-
it quite a lot.
The Night Of is a miniseries.
That's a good
The
show.
Night Officer.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I literally saw when I went to Dubai.
Yeah.
Literally, I just saw the whole of that on the way.
Sick man. Riz Ahmed
Isn't
doing
So
bits.
good. I literally just watched it while they're rising for an exam. You know when you can't bother to
Yeah.
revise and find anything to distract yourself. I ended up watching. Have you guys watched Cobra Kai? Side note.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah.
No, it's very good.
Really good watch. Season 1's 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
Guys, I think instead of going off track, we should end it there.
Like Cobra Kai. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. But yeah,
And now watches in.
yeah. I'll watch
Hey,
House of Cards at the end.
I'll be able to drop that.
It's gotta be done. Alright. That is episode 3 of Chaa Talk Podcast. Hopefully we'll have 2 next week.